Regular meeting number 51 will now come to order. Please stand for the playing of the national anthem. Councilmember Bankston, would you lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This evening, I'm excited to have my friend and pastor, Minister Malik Crosswhite from my church, Mount Olivet Baptist Church, here to pray for us. Mr. Crosswhite, welcome to council.
Greetings, council. Shall we pray? To the one who knows all things, who created all things, and to the one who intentionally placed us all together in this world, in this nation, in this state, and in this city for such a time as this. Most Holy One, we ask now for you to help lead us. Lead us in such a way that honors our community that we all are a part of. For it is our community whose fate rests in our hands. For it is our community whose well-being is in our hands, and more specifically in the hands of this council before you today. The persons and people sleeping on streets are in your hands. The ones who have homes but are struggling to pay high rent prices are in your hands. The citizens of Columbus at large are in your hands. And so now, Most Holy One, remind them that real people are in their hands. So we pray for justice, love, honesty, imagination, and communication to lead this meeting. We ask all these things in your name. We say Ashe and Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Vice President Harden. Any person who takes any action to obstruct or interfere with the conduct of tonight's meeting may be charged with disturbing a lawful meeting pursuant to Columbus City Code 2317.12. Any person who enters those areas of city council chambers reserved for city officials or invited guests may be charged with criminal trespass pursuant to Columbus City Code 2311.21.
Can I get a motion to assume from the reading of the journal? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Vice President Harden.
Are there any additions or corrections to the journal? Hearing none, the journal is approved. This week's communications received by the city clerk's office are listed on the agenda and will be published in the city bulletin. Are there any other communications to be read into the record?
Not at this time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now go around the dais for updates and resolution from members of council, starting with Councilmember Bankston.
Thank you, President Harden. Just two announcements this evening regarding two upcoming hearings that my office will be hosting and holding. First is the Title 39 hearing on updates to Title 39. This will be on Monday, November 10th at 5 p.m. I will be holding this second public hearing to discuss an edited version of the proposed changes to Title 39 of the city's code. Public hearing will be here in council chambers and will give members of the public the opportunity to hear about the edits made since the last hearing that we had. Any resident seeking to submit written testimony should forward it to my office. Written testimony must be received by 12 p.m. the day of the hearing. Again, that's Monday, November 10th of 2025, and it can be emailed to Jonathan Brown, that's jbbrown@columbus.gov. All persons wishing to speak during the hearing in person must also email Mr. Brown at jbbrown@columbus.gov by 12 p.m. the day of the hearing, requesting that they be added to the list of speakers. Each speaker will be limited to remarks lasting no longer than 3 minutes. The meeting will be live streamed on City's YouTube channel and Council Facebook page. Additional details regarding the changes will be also shared publicly within the next week on the City Council website. Next is our second hearing on the proposed rental registry. This will take place on Tuesday, November 18th at 4 p.m. Again, this will be held, the second hearing will be held here in council chambers regarding the rental registry. The hearing will go over edits to the framework of the proposal that was shared during the first hearing. All persons wishing to speak during the hearing in person must fill out a speaker request form by Monday, November 17th at 5 p.m. The form can be accessed via my and council social media pages, council's website, and also by contacting Jonathan Brown in my office at jbbrown@columbus.gov. Written testimony must also be emailed to Jonathan Brown, again, jbbrown@columbus.gov, with the subject November 18th hearing testimony, with your name and address by 5 p.m. on September 17th. Each speaker will be limited to remarks lasting no longer than 3 minutes. And again, this meeting will be streamed on the city's YouTube page as well as Facebook pages. Additional details regarding the changes will be shared publicly within the next few weeks ahead of the hearing as well. Again, thank you all for engaging us on these two big pieces of legislation, and look forward to both of those hearings. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Rosa de Padilla.
Thank you, Council President. I have two announcements. First, we had an amazing weekend of events here in everyone's neighborhood downtown, including our last open streets event of the season this past Sunday with live music, exercise classes. There was a giant slide, a roller skating rink, scooter test drives, art, food trucks, and more. It stretched from Long Street to Town Street. It was our biggest one yet. Open Streets is a day of car-free activity in the heart of our city, transforming our biggest street into an area for people to walk, roll, and play. A huge thank you to Downtown Columbus, Inc. and our sponsor, the Wexner Medical Center, as well as all of our activity partners for making Open Streets such a success. We look forward to another season when the weather is a little kinder. Secondly, last Thursday, we hosted a hearing on pay transparency legislation that would require employers to share a reasonable salary range on all job postings within the city of Columbus. Pay transparency is a companion piece of legislation to our salary history ban that prohibits potential employers from asking job seekers about previous salary. Our goal with this legislation is simple: to create a city where economic growth and equity go hand in hand. Because when workers are paid fairly, they can support their families, invest in their futures, and contribute to a stronger local economy. We continue to welcome outreach to my office with questions or concerns about the legislation before we present it here at Council for a vote next week. I would like to again thank my team, Jessica Caceres and Amaris Lemus, for the many conversations and engagement we had around this piece of legislation, as well as my partner in good, Kirsten Exosi from our Legislative Research Department, for helping to craft both pieces of legislation. That is all for me, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Beatty.
Yes, good evening. I have one announcement for today, Council President. This Wednesday, October 29th at 12 noon, I will be chairing the third and final hearing inside council chambers to discuss the draft proposal for the expansion of the zoning code, Title 33, to allow for accessory dwelling units in all residential districts in the city, and review the feedback we've collected over the 60-day public comment period. The staff from Building and Zoning Services Department will provide a presentation of the proposed draft code changes at the hearing. All interested parties who are interested in offering written or public testimony may send an email to Leah Boyd at lsboyd@columbus.gov by 10 a.m. on October the 29th. Please include your full name and address. Please include October 29th hearing testimony in the subject line. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. And residents who are unable to attend may attend the hearing in person or tune in live on CTV, YouTube, or Facebook Live. That's all I have for this evening. Again, that's October the 29th at 12 noon, the third and final hearing of the ADU legislation.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Day Akauer.
Thank you, Council President. I have one resolution this evening, and as I read the title, I'd like to invite Sherry Lynn Flowers Wynn and her guest to the podium. Resolution 0241X-2025 to recognize October 23rd, 2025 as Lights On Day in the City of Columbus and to commend the work of Columbus Recreation and Parks Department After School Rec Club. This past Thursday afternoon, CRPD hosted its annual Lights On celebration at COSI. Lights On After School is an effort by the After School Alliance, a national organization working to ensure all youth have access to affordable, quality after-school programs. This day is meant to celebrate the positive role after-school programs play in the lives of children, families, and communities, as well as advocate for adequate funding with local governments. CRPD's After School Rec Club, also known as ARC, has been celebrating this day for the past decade, inviting all after-school participants and their families to a free and family fun event every year. In addition to celebrating Lights On Day itself, I also wanted to use this resolution to commend and uplift the work of the department and specifically of ARC in looking after the youth of our city. Youth programming is important for so many reasons. It provides a safe space for youth when they get out of school. It offers programming to keep them engaged and growing, and it allows them to learn necessary social skills from trusted adults. All of this is not possible without the work of the staff at ARC. I will forever and always uplift the importance of youth programs and fight to increase access to programs because all children deserve to have safe, age-appropriate, and engaging programming in their communities. And with that, I'd like to turn the floor over to Sherry Lynn Flowers Wynn, after-school administrator for our Rec and Park Department. Welcome to council, and would you like to introduce some of your team members and share some remarks with us this evening?
I sure do, and thank you so much to Council President Harden, Council Member Pro Tem Bankston, and Recreation and Parks Chair Day Alkire. I've practiced that. Thank you so much for acknowledging us. It's nice to be back home. I see a bunch of friends still here, and I'm glad to be able to celebrate here. Lights On for After School is a national celebration by the After School Alliance. And the intent of the Lights On program is for advocacy, to make sure that we secure adequate funding. For every child that's in after-school programming, there are 3 children that are not. And we know the hours between 3 and 7 p.m. our young people get into drugs, sex, gun violence, and all that types of things. So to have safe places, I'd like to thank my Director Bernita Reese, for offering those opportunities for our young people. This evening, I brought with me 3 sites. We'll start with Sullivan Gardens. We have a young lady here, and I'll just have them say their name and their grade and keep moving. And then if a parent wants to say something. But we have Sullivan Gardens represented here. We have Adams Community Art Program represented here. And we have Glenwood. Ms. Francine stayed in the back. But I want you to see these young people are just amazing, and they're our future. So we have to always, always, always support them and make sure that we're funding programs that are specially for their needs. So with that, I want to start the introductions. I'll let Miss Joy, she's our princess for today, say her name and her grade and maybe school and keep moving.
Hi, my name is Joy Fluellen, and my grade is 3rd. And I'm 8 years old, and my school, I'm actually homeschooled, and my school name is Superior Learning Academy.
Good job.
Thank you. My name is Mayana, and I'm in 2nd grade. No, you're not. You're in kindergarten.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I guess he's in 2nd grade.
Thank you. Next, go to the other side.
Okay. My name is Demetrius, and I'm in second grade. And my other name is Memen. They call me Memen at the house. And my dad said he was gonna call me Little Me. Little Me.
Sweetheart, go ahead, stand right there, turn around, go ahead. We'll keep moving.
My name is Linnea. I'm in 4th grade, and I go to Imagine Academy. That's my school. That's what we all go to.
Next, man. Keep moving.
My name is Madeline, and I go to Avondale.
Hi, my name is Romel Zucker. I'm 11 years old in the 6th grade, and I go to Sherwood Middle School.
Hello, my name is Morgan Davis, and I am homeschooled, but I go to Ohio Virtual Academy, and I'm 10 years old.
Hi, my name is Alea Craig, and I go to Afrocentric. I'm in 6th grade, and I'm 11.
Good evening. I'm Renata Belcher. I'm the lead facilitator of After School Recreation Club at Adams. I teach 4-H coding to girls, ice hockey with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and social emotional through Kids Mental Health Foundation. Thank you for having us.
Miss Joy, can I see that?
Hi, my name is Jaiana Davis, and I'm the lead art teacher at Glenwood Community Center.
Hello, my name is Melanie Denise Owens Montalis. I teach at Sullivan Garden. I'm the lead teacher.
Hello, Councilman. Thank you for having us. I'm Joy's mother. My name is Shasta Fluellen, and I'm the lead teacher at Superior Learning Academy. And I'm also the founder of establishing a Women's Wellness Center. It's called Love 2318 in the New Linden area. Can't wait to welcome it. And thank you for having us.
And thanks to Mario for facilitating all of this, and to Jacob. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for the work that you do for our children. And with all of that, do any of my colleagues have any comments?
I was just going to say to our young people, thank you. Thank you for sharing. This is your house, too. This is not just a place for adults, but it's always our favorite when there are young people who are here and when you get this kind of experience to come and to talk to leaders, because you, too, are leaders in our community. And to the folks who are leading our young people, that after school time is so critical, because I think that's the time when kids can be off just a little bit, and to have that time to make that connection, to learn, a new sport or a new skill or something interesting, and to make new friends. I was a latchkey kid and didn't have the benefit all the time of having after school, but got to run after school programs as an adult, and that's where I saw our kids thrive. So I just want to thank you all and just acknowledge the different ways that we are reaching our kids and providing a platform for them to really meet their excellence, whether that's through homeschooling or going through CCS or another kind of a school. I think it's just a demonstration of just meeting kids where they are and ensuring that we're investing in their success. So thank you, Council Member, for bringing this joy to us today, and thank you all for being here.
Any other comments? Seeing none, then I move for adoption.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorrance, Green, White, President Harden.
Adopted.
All right, politician in the making.
That's all for me, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember Pro Tem. Councilmember Green.
Thank you so much, Council President. Tonight, I do have one resolution on the agenda, and as I read it, I would love to invite Chastity Washington, Cecilia DeGraffenreid from Turning the Page on breast cancer, as well as any of the other advocates that would like to join her that were with us this afternoon. Our resolution is Resolution 0239X-2025 to recognize October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month and support equity in prevention, treatment, and survivorship. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it's a time to honor survivors and remember folks who we've lost and support the ongoing fight for detection, treatment, and research. And so today, as this month of October is coming to a close, we held a roundtable with advocates and survivors, or as a few folks in the room identified themselves as breast cancer veterans, to really talk about the issues that folks are experiencing with access to early identification and treatment and care and support. And one thing that I walked away from that conversation very, very clear about is that when we talk about breast cancer as a fight, we're not just talking about fighting the disease. We're talking about fighting systems of oppression, fighting systems that prevent access to care and early identification with machines that exist in hospitals that have doctors that are capable of using them, and for whatever reason, they won't. A lack of access to patient choice and protections, made even more complicated by our challenges in our medical system and our healthcare insurance system, which stands to get worse as more and more people become ineligible for health insurance access, whether it's financial challenges once we have these new changes that go into effect, or Medicaid changes at the state and the federal level. All of that being said, it has put a very fine point on something that folks that work anywhere adjacent to healthcare already know. But it was so impactful to hear your stories and learn from your experiences today, to really see up close why organizations like Turning the Page on Breast Cancer are so important. Your organization is an Ohio-based initiative that's committed to advancing equity in care, cancer prevention, through education. I learned stuff as your chair of Health and Human Services in that room, a lot of things that I was unaware of. And so, we're just so grateful for you for being willing to meet people where they're at and to do the hard work, to have the tough conversations, to encourage people to have the tough conversations with their family members, to close these absolutely critical gaps that exist in care and support across our community. I know that you said you didn't want to make any statements, so I won't put you, okay.
So
Please do.
Okay. So yes, I would just like to say thank you for the opportunity to be here today, a part of that group that, of wonderful women that did give us feedback as a hospital that sometimes can play a part in some of those barriers. It was important for us to hear that from them today. And so we will be taking that back, and we look forward to continue to work with you and others that weren't in the room. Ohio State is a big institution in the state, but we work very closely with the other healthcare institutions as well, because we know there's more than enough work to go around, and we just want to make that commitment today to keep working with you and others that were in that room to end breast cancer and all cancers.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. Do any of my colleagues have any comments or questions? No. So as we officially designate October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we'd also very much, on behalf of a grateful city, love to thank you guys so much for your advocacy and your education. I know this is the beginning of what I hope to be ongoing conversations about the ways that we can better support you and your work, and the people and the families across our community that are impacted by breast cancer. So with that, I move for adoption.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Banks, Timber, Rosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Adopted. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember White. All right. Are there any comments from our elected officials? I actually have one update. Due to the retirement of City Treasurer Deborah Klee, we appointed Talia Brown as interim City Treasurer effective August 30th, 2025. Many folks may not know that the City Council oversees the office of the City Treasurer. City Treasurer is the nerve center of the city's financial operations. It moves around billions of dollars each year in cash, working hand in glove with the city auditor, receiving and depositing funds into the city's bank account, paying out checks, and investing excess dollars for taxpayers to get a return. It is a small but mighty team that has carried out a huge banking modernization project to overhaul how the city does everything from point of sale systems to payment processing and more. Our longtime city treasurer, Klee, retired in August, and Deputy Treasurer Talia Brown has been serving as interim director. Today, following a competitive process, I'm proud to be naming Talia the permanent city treasurer going forward. Talia became deputy city treasurer in 2009, and we're grateful for her continued service to the city and to this office. Would you like to say anything, Madam Treasurer?
Sure, I don't get to use this often, so I want to say thank you, President Harden, Chair Bankston, members of council, for this opportunity. I'm super excited to serve this community that I love so much. I want to say thank you to my work family, Clay Chambers and Jeff Starks, who are here tonight, and my family came down to support me, and they've been so supportive of me all along, and the reason why I'm able to be successful is because I have so many wonderful people around me who lift me up, and I am just so excited to serve. So thank you for the opportunity, and I can't wait to continue this great work that I love so much.
Chair, do you have any?
Thank you, President Harden, and just want to say congratulations again. As Chair of Finance, I work really closely with our Treasurer's Office as well, and so to see Talia and how she's worked alongside our outgoing treasurer, but how really she has stepped in and not missed a beat. And I think that speaks to your leadership. I think that also speaks to the trust that your team has in you. And looking forward to continue to work with you as we modernize and continue the efforts that were done. And so really, again, congratulations, and looking forward to the next chapter in the Treasurer's Office.
Thank you so much. And if I could just ask my family to stand up so that they can be recognized. And I appreciate my husband, Edmund, my daughter, Kylan, and my son, Cameron. Thanks for coming, guys.
Congratulations. It's definitely a well-earned position. And I also want to thank the Auditor's Office participated in this search, members of the Mayor's Administration, Director Long, and others. So you earned this. So congratulations, my friend. With that, I move to appoint Talia Brown as the City Treasurer effective October 27. Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Congratulations. Are there any requests by members of council for the removal of an ordinance or resolution from the consent portion of the agenda? May I have a motion to waive the readings of title of 30 legislation by the city clerk? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bankston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. Will the clerk now read into the records the order numbers of 30-day legislation on tonight's agenda for first reading?
In Finance and Governance, we have ordinance 2731, 2771-2025. Economic Development and Small and Minority Business Committee, we have Resolution 226X-2025. Public Service and Transportation Committee, ordinances 2732, 2752, 2753, and 2805-2025. Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee, ordinances 2724, and 2811 and 2854-2025. Rules and Policy Committee, we have ordinance 2898-2025. Zoning Committee, under rezonings, we have 2861-2025. Variances, 2865-2025.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We don't have any speakers on the first reading portion of the agenda. The following ordinances appear on our agenda as consent. Would you read those into the record as well?
Resolutions of Expression, 240X-2025, 214X-2025, Ordinance 2582, 2611, 2645, 2662, 2674, 2686, 2740, 2772, and 2802-2025, Economic Development and Smaller Minority Business, ordinances 2667, 2668, 2773, and 2813-2025, Public Service and Transportation Committee, ordinance 2550, 2566, 2728, 2739, 2744, 2746, 2747, 2748, 2749, 2750, 2751, 2755, 2756, 2757, 2758, 2759, 2760, 2761, 2763, and 2764-2025. Neighborhoods, Recreation, and Parks Committee, ordinances 2718, 2723, and 2730-2025. Workforce, Education, and Labor Committee, ordinances 2613, 2791, 2792, and 2793-2025. Health, Human Services, and Equity Committee, ordinance 2707-2025. Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee, ordinance 2625 and 2628-2025. Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee, ordinances 2420, 2476, 2483, 2523, 2600, 2615, 2657, 2727, 2728-2025. Housing, Homelessness, and Building Committee, ordinances 2554, 2638, 2639, 2640, 2666, and 2814-2025.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have one speaker on the consent portion of the agenda. DJ Burns is here. Welcome back to council.
What's going on, City Council? Long time no talk. My name is DJ Burns. Some of you guys might know I'm a reformed Franklinton freak. So I'm familiar with the Gladden House and the work when I lived down there. I believe when Councilman Bankston was running it like the Navy. And so I just want to come down here today and thank you guys for that quick allotment of the money. $155,000. I'd like it getting out the door. But I also received a very troubling tip today. I can only assume it's from the mayor's camp after some reporting that I did. In terms of like money that's being spent on these projects and about the roughly 6 figures that's going to Gladden House. Has anyone here been accused by a subordinate of sexual harassment recently? No, I didn't think so. I know there's an absence. Is there like, do we have a problem in that regard, Council President?
Finish your time, and then if it's appropriate, we would respond.
But like, if theoretically speaking, there was a tip, and I have a name to go with it, that a council member who is running for re-election had been accused of a subordinate of sexual harassment, and there is a 6-figure settlement pending that's currently being held from the legislative agenda until after the election, that would be a big problem, right? I think we could all agree on that. So I was just like trying to ascertain, it's a very credible tip. And like I said, there's a name attached to this tip. I'm obviously not going to speak that name, but do we have a problem in that regard? Like, am I on the right track? Like, is there something amiss? Because it feels like something's amiss.
Well, one, this is not germane to the legislation, but two, I will respond after your time is up.
That's all. Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah.
You relinquish your time?
Yeah, I'm not trying to like, I plan to ask him personally tonight, but
Sure.
like, it's just the only way I could do it. I'm not trying to like be cavalier.
Sure.
But it's a pretty explosive tip.
Well, I can't speak to any tip that you may have about any type of sexual anything. No, I cannot speak to that.
So there's not.
So that's the end of it. See, you gave your time.
Just
so.
There's nothing on anyone here, any seat.
I answered your question.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other questions or comments on the consent portion of the agenda? Hearing none, is the motion to approve? Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
The consent agenda is approval. Now proceed with the second reading of 30-day postponed and emergency legislation. The first committee to come before council is the Finance and Governance Committee. Councilmember Bankston chairs that committee. All members serve on it. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. Tonight in the Finance and Governance Committee, we just have one ordinance 2664-2025, to authorize the advance of funds to grants and projects of up to $5 million per grant or project, and to authorize the reimbursement of such advances on the receipt of such monies from the originating grantor or lender, and to declare an emergency. This ordinance authorizes the auditor to access dollars in our income tax set-aside fund to support some outstanding time-sensitive grant needs for partner organizations. These funds are typically restored once the cash for these projects is made available through our bond sale. So this is basically us just advancing dollars for certain projects that we will backfill once those dollars come in from our bond sale. Any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you, Council President. That's all I have.
Next committee to come before council is the Public Service and Transportation Committee.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I have one ordinance today, and I'm excited that we brought back a little show and tell for this ordinance. So ordinance 2762-2025, to authorize the Director of the Department of Public Service to execute those documents necessary for the city to grant a revocable encroachment easement to Maroon Arts Group to allow a portion of their building at 867 Mount Vernon Avenue to remain on city property within existing right-of-way and to declare an emergency. This ordinance is one of 17 ordinances on the consent agenda today, which authorizes the Director of the Department of Public Service to grant revocable encroachment easements to several different entities to allow a portion of their buildings or properties to remain on city property with an existing right-of-way. Granting these encroachment easements is needed in order for ODOT and the City of Columbus to clear the right-of-way for this project. So that sounds scary when we talk about right-of-way and taking it over, but this is a good story. So I wanted to highlight this ordinance because this has long been in the works in conjunction with the community. So this is a project that came directly from resident and stakeholder feedback. So this is where we can show a little bit of the show and tell that we have. So this project, the city installed interim safety or quick build improvements in 2021 that included adding all-way stop signs at various intersections on Mount Vernon Avenue, as well as striped parking lanes with curb extensions to address crashes and near misses. As a result, since October 2021, total crashes at Mount Vernon Avenue and Champion Avenue have decreased by 91%. And there were 0 crashes at the intersection from November 2021 through February 2023. Additionally, there have been 0 fatal crashes at this intersection since the installation in October 2021. Phase 1 is the first stage of permanent infrastructure changes. I realize that this is a little less it's a little underwhelming. I overpromised and underdelivered. But we're going to talk about what some of these infrastructure changes are. West of Champion Avenue, the project will add a separated bike lane, incorporated bus islands, sidewalk bump out so it shortens the distance for pedestrians crossing, sidewalk and curb repairs at Martin Luther King Boulevard and Mount Vernon Avenue from Hamilton Avenue to Champion. So it was important for me to highlight this because this has been a problematic corridor. This has been something that the community has been asking for a long time. And this is around our intentional work with Vision Zero, which I want to highlight. We made our first milestone that we had 0 fatalities during the month of August. It was the first time that we were able to hit that citywide. And these sorts of improvements that we're making in areas of the city that are problematic and unsafe will help us learn new strategies that we can deploy in other neighborhoods. So Assistant Director Young, can you just tell us a little bit more about what the proposed changes are that we'll see along the corridor?
Thank you, Council President, Council Chair, Council. The first phase of this project is going to add the separated bike lanes for the entire project limit, concrete medians to separate vehicular and bicycle traffic, bump outs to shorten crossing distances, bus islands, a lot of sidewalk and curb repair throughout the corridor, which was not ADA compliant.
These are a little bit more exciting visuals. Keep going.
Signal improvements to 20th, The other exciting thing about this project is we were able to secure $500,000 of Safe Routes to School funding, $3 million of ODOT safety funding for the construction of this project. We only had one injury crash since 2023 on this corridor at Champion. And we're really excited about that. You mentioned this is the first time since November 18th we've been fatality-free in Columbus, which is a great thing. If you want to save a date for November 16th, it's World Remembrance Day for road traffic victims. There's a gathering at Washington Walden Park at the northeast corner of Broad and Cleveland, November 16th from 1 to 2. And just to highlight, this is one of the many projects we have that are Vision Zero, where we're trying to redesign our streets to make them more usable for everybody.
So I wanted to highlight, can you tell us a little bit about the timeline? I'm sorry.
Right now, this is slated to be advertised for construction, I think it's March of next year, March of 26.
So I just wanted to, again, elevate this because there were, as we were reading the consent portion of the agenda, these were the 17 right-of-ways that are coming, which would allow us to make all of the improvements. And so this is really exciting. Folks will start to see, especially in this area with the Maroon opening up, the King Arts Complex, all of the things that happen in Mamie Moore Park. This is a pedestrian-heavy area, and there's other improvements that are coming along the corridor. But this has just been really good work for the department. A couple big milestones that we've hit in this area, but then certainly citywide with Vision Zero. So I didn't want to just gloss over this today, and we'll spend more time on this, but the intentional work that we're putting is starting to show in the data. And so do my colleagues have any questions or comments? Yes.
I just want to make a comment, council member, because you serve as vice chair of economic development as well. And we talk about Vision Zero from a safety standpoint, and that be true. But even these types of infrastructure improvements lead to community development, economic development. This is one of our priority neighborhoods on the Near East Side. A lot of work has been going there with the revitalization. There was just an announcement about a new owner of the historic Mount Vernon Plaza. And so when we think about investment, how it's layers together to create momentum and create opportunities, I'm so excited because to one, have no fatal crashes, that's amazing. But now a historic African-American neighborhood getting the necessary continued investment, because reinvestment doesn't happen when you just do one project. You have to continue to invest in the neighborhood. It's all going hand in hand. So I just was excited to see this, and I couldn't be remiss not to make that connection.
No, I appreciate that. And continuing, I mean, it also will attract more people because it makes it a more walkable neighborhood because it's safer for everyone. And so I just want to, again, thank the department for all of their work and their continued work about this. And we're going to keep at it because we're getting closer, inching closer to Vision Zero every day. And the more that we can tackle these intersections and whole streets and corridors that we can make it safer for everyone, it's going to be better for everyone. So if there are no other questions or comments, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you, and that's all for public service this evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Neighborhoods, Recreation, and Parks Committee, chaired by Councilmember De Akauer. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. For the first ordinance in our committee this evening, I'd like to turn the floor over to the sponsor of this legislation, Councilmember Barosa de Padilla. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. I'm back. This is for ordinance 2578, 2025, to authorize the city clerk to enter into a grant agreement with Catholic Social Services Incorporated in support of Mercadito Raíces and to authorize an appropriation and expenditure from the Neighborhood Initiative Subfund. This ordinance will provide further funding to Our Lady of Guadalupe Center for the Mercadito Raíces Small Business Program, the only training program of its kind in Central Ohio that offers its programming completely in Spanish. Between between 25 to 35 individuals were enrolled in the spring and summer of this year alone. Small businesses are the backbone of our local economy, and when we invest in programs like these, we're not just supporting individual success stories, we're strengthening the very foundation of our city. This program opens doors for aspiring Latino entrepreneurs, men and women who have the ideas, the drive, and the passion to build businesses of various types, including food service, online sales, and general services. I'd like to invite the Vice President of Family Services for Catholic Social Services, Ramona Reyes, to come up to the podium to speak more about the program.
Good evening, President Harding, President Pro Tem Dorans, and council members. On behalf of Catholic Social Services and Our Lady of Guadalupe Center, thank you for your continued partnership and support of Mercadito Raíces. And a special thank you to Councilwoman Barroso de Padilla for championing this initiative within the city budget and through the Hispanic Heritage Festival. Mercadito Raíces is a Spanish language business development program that helps aspiring Hispanic entrepreneurs turn their ideas into reality. Through bilingual education, personalized coaching, and mentorship, participants learn how to start, manage, and grow successful small businesses right here in Columbus. This is the only program of its kind in the city of Columbus, a culturally and linguistically accessible pathway to entrepreneurship for low-income and underserved residents who often face barriers to traditional business programs. Since its inception, Mercadito Raíces has helped launch and strengthen dozens of businesses, from food trucks and restaurants to boutiques, salons, and service providers, creating opportunity and stability for local families. This year, 23 new businesses were launched and 20 new entrepreneurs completed the program. Our mission is simple: to reduce barriers, increase access, and empower families to achieve economic independence through entrepreneurship. Participants gain business knowledge, mentorship, and most importantly, confidence. The confidence to take risk, hire employees, and reinvest into our very communities. Many of our graduates are women, leading thriving small businesses and supporting multi-generational households. Their success has a ripple effect, strengthening families, neighborhoods, and our city's economy. At this year's Festival Latino, nearly 4 in 10 vendors were current or former Mercadito Raíces participants, a clear sign of the program's growing impact and our money staying in our city, as Councilwoman Barroso de Padilla states. Graduates are also proudly representing their businesses during the Hispanic Heritage Festival, showcasing the creativity and resilience of Columbus's Hispanic community. Across the country, Hispanic-owned businesses are growing at 7.7% annually, which is the fastest of any group. But here in Columbus, Hispanic entrepreneurs remain underrepresented. Mercadito Raíces is helping close that gap, fueling job creation, supporting working families, and revitalizing neighborhoods. And I want to emphasize, investments like those made by this council make all the difference. Your support provides the resources that turn business dreams into real storefronts, food trucks, and family-sustaining livelihoods. This success has reached beyond Columbus. Mercadito Raíces was recently highlighted at the Catholic Charities USA National Conference in Puerto Rico as a national model of how local governments and nonprofits can collaborate to uplift and lift underserved entrepreneurs and strengthen communities. Now, none of this work happens alone. We're deeply grateful to our partners, the Ohio Small Business Development Center at Columbus State, U.S. Small Business Administration, CAPA, City of Columbus Department of Development, and this very council, especially Councilwoman Lourdes Barroso de Padilla, for your vision and commitment to the opportunity for low-income and underserved residents. To our entrepreneurs, ustedes son el corazón de nuestra comunidad. You are the heart of our community. Your courage, creativity, and determination inspire us all. Together, we are proving that when one small business succeeds, our entire city grows stronger. Thank you for your continued support of Mercadito Raíces, Catholic Social Services, and the families we serve.
Thank you, Ramona. And I just want to highlight this because a few years ago, we sat down with Festival Latino when we started to see, in the low numbers, that many of our vendors at that festival were not local. And so I think this was like a brainchild of many of us who sat together and said, what can we do? And so I want to thank you for your leadership of launching this program that literally fuels not just Festival Latino and not just the Latino Heritage Month events, but also the city as a whole. English is one of the hardest languages to learn, one of the hardest languages. In a city like Columbus, where we rely on income tax, ensuring that new and emerging communities, they usually are entrepreneurial by nature because you're removing barriers naturally so that you can take care of yourself, your family, and the people that you care about. And so ensuring that we're meeting them where they are, that while they're learning this new language, learning a new culture, they can get their business off the ground if it was a business that they had in their original homeland or it's a new idea that they have here. That is reducing those barriers. That's getting people to work. That is a win-win for everyone. And so I just want to thank you for your partnership. I want to thank Director Stevens because the Department of Development makes an even bigger investment than we make in this program. But the way that you work with everyone at the graduation, just seeing folks who are opening up barbershops, who are opening up, what catering companies doing these amazing things that they was only a dream for them, but now is becoming a reality is something special to see. So do my colleagues have any questions, any comments? Thank you. And we're so excited that you were able to represent us in Puerto Rico, that this is a national model. So
I
give us a
sacrificed
call.
myself.
Watching today. I know. Thank you. Thank you for volunteering as tribute in Puerto Rico and representing as well. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you.
So first, I'd like to amend as submitted.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Vice President Harden.
Amended.
And now I'd like to move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Vice President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. And that for real is all for me this evening. Chair, back to you.
Thank you, Councilmember. The other ordinance in our committee this evening is 2881-2025 to authorize the city clerk to enter a grant agreement with National Veterans Memorial and Museum Operating Corporation in support of the National Veterans Memorial Museum's Veterans Day National Ceremony, to authorize an appropriation and expenditure of $10,000 from the Neighborhood Initiative Subfund and to declare an emergency. Since mid-2024, I've been proud to be leading our veteran affairs efforts here at City Council. While we as a city do not administer veteran assistance programs ourselves, I believe it's this council's duty to support and uplift organizations and individuals in our community who are doing the work to ensure our veterans are looked after and celebrated. This is why I'm happy to be utilizing dollars I set aside for veteran-related initiatives to support the National Veterans Memorial Museum's Veterans Day National Ceremony and Community Flag Planting Program. NVMM is a pillar organization here in our city, working tirelessly to honor all veterans, elevate their stories, and amplify the power of service for everyone, everywhere. This ceremony and program adheres to that mission by uniting residents and honoring those who served while strengthening community connection, civic pride, and shared understanding. The Veterans Day National Ceremony is an event that is live-streamed nationally, extending Columbus's reputation as a city that honors and uplifts veterans. This ceremony will highlight the dedication of veterans in defending our freedoms, sparking dialogue, empathy, civility, and a deeper commitment to service among those in attendance. The museum's flag planting program complements this ceremony by engaging hundreds of local volunteers, including students, youth groups, and civic organizations who collectively fill the museum's lawn with thousands of flags, each representing gratitude and remembrance. I'm proud to continue our support of the museum's programs and their mission as we as a council continue to work towards ensuring veterans are empowered to work, live, and thrive in the city of Columbus. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorns, Green, Vice President Harden.
Passed.
Thanks, that's all for me this evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Health and Human Service and Equity Committee, chaired by Councilmember Green. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Council President. Tonight in our Health, Human Services, and Equity Committee, we have one ordinance on second reading, and I am going to turn it right back over to you as the sponsor of this ordinance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tonight, I'm introducing emergency legislation to provide $25,000 to the Mid-Ohio Food Collective to support families and workers who are struggling during this federal government shutdown. We know that across Central Ohio, many of our neighbors are feeling the strain. Federal workers in our community are now going another week without a paycheck. These are our friends, these are our neighbors, they're people who serve our country and keep essential operations running. And right now, they're worried about how they're going to put food on the table next week. At the same time, our local food pantry system is already stretched thin. After the loss of pandemic-era funding, rising food costs, and growing food insecurity nationwide, organizations like the Mid-Ohio Food Collective are working harder than ever just to meet the basic demands. Every 30 days, more than 173,000 low-income Franklin County residents depend on $31 million in food assistance to feed their families. That support helps them free up limited resources to pay rent, to keep the heat on, and to afford their prescriptions. That's 1 in every 8 of our residents, 1 in 8 of our neighbors. That's seniors, that's children, that's veterans, and neighbors living with disabilities, relying on that support just to make it through the month. And now, with the shutdown dragging on, even more people are turning to food pantries for help. And not just those who've lost SNAP benefits, but also thousands of federal employees who live right here in Franklin County. So let's be clear. This $25,000 grant is just a drop in the bucket for the need that is out there. It's not enough to solve the crisis or meet every need, but it is a way for us to stand together, to send a message that we see what's happening, that we care, and that we are willing to act. But it's more than a grant. It's a call to action. We're asking everyone in our community to find a way to help, whether that's donating to Mid-Ohio Food Collective or volunteering at your local food pantry, or simply checking in on your neighbor who might be struggling right now. If you are looking for ways to get involved, you can visit www.mofc.org/shutdown for more information. Like I said, this is more than a grant, it's a call to action. All right, so our hope that churches will join us over the weekend. November 1st is when SNAP could be cut for thousands of our residents. I hope that there are nonprofit organizations, families, and friends who will step up in this moment to make sure that those folks who are going to bed tonight, not knowing if they will have their support for food next week, will know that in Columbus, we will stack hands and do what we have to do to take care of one another. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues?
I just want to thank you for sponsoring this legislation and for bringing attention to this issue. In my neighborhood, 1 in 3 people go to bed hungry every night. Neighborhoods downtown, near East Side, it's about 50%. We are talking $31 million a month, per month, that SNAP spends just here in Franklin County. And it's not a secret what the federal government is trying to do. This is their goal. And right now, we know the shutdown, even if they passed a continuing resolution, the shutdown, the CR, a temporary CR, would just get us to November 21st, and then we're right back here again. We know that based on the last federal budget, $230 billion cut from the committee that funds these types of programs. And so we know what we can expect. And I just want to urge everyone across our community, everyone sitting up here on this dais, all of our partners across the administration, to please be thinking about how we can do more. Because we don't have to live in a city where 1 in 3 kids in our neighborhoods goes to bed hungry every night. And we have opportunity now to think about how we're investing differently, and I look forward to doing that with all of you.
Again, this is everybody doing something. So next week, we will have a box outside of City Council on Monday. That would be the first Monday since the shutdown and folks not receiving their SNAP benefits. We would encourage folks that are coming down to council next week, if administration, certainly council members and staff, to bring in those dry goods and perishables. Talked to Mid-Ohio today. They are in need. They are in need. Are there any other questions or comments? I move for passage. Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. That's all on my committee tonight.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. Councilmember Remy serves as chair of that committee. In his absence, I will read the ordinance. It's ordinance 2721-2025 to authorize the Office of Violence Prevention to enter into a contract with Bonterra Tech LLC to purchase a new case management system, along with professional software services, to waive the competitive bidding provisions of Columbus City Code, Chapter 329, and to authorize the expenditure of $87,273.20 from the general fund and to declare an emergency. Director, I'm going to turn it over to you to give us more context on this piece of legislation.
Thank you, Council President Harden. Chair Remy in his absence and all of the members of City Council. We are just, the Office of Violence Prevention, thank you for considering our legislation for Bonterra. We are, for our Columbus Violence Reduction Program, they are currently already having a contract with Bonterra. We are advancing from Penelope to Apricot to be more in uniform with some of the other members of our community violence intervention ecosystem so that we can start talking some of the same language. And so we are hopeful that this will help us, as we are doing our data collection, help us to streamline that, have much more efficient services for our participants in the city. And so we thank you.
Thank you, Madam Director. Are there any questions or comments on this ordinance? Seeing none, I move for passage. Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Passed. The next committee to come before council is the Public Utilities and Sustainability Committee, chaired by Councilmember Weiss. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. First, in Public Utilities and Sustainability tonight, I have Ordinance 2436-2025 to authorize the Director of the Department of Public Utilities to modify and increase the contract with DLZ Ohio Incorporated for the Lower Olentangy Tunnel Phase 1 project, to authorize the Director of Public Utilities to submit the Lower Olentangy Tunnel Phase 1 contract modification for loan funding and to execute any paperwork necessary to accept loan funding for this project. To make this ordinance contingent upon the Ohio Water Development Authority approving a loan for this project, to amend the 2025 capital improvement budget, to appropriate funds within the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, and to authorize an expenditure of up to $1,888,917 from the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund to pay for the project. This contract modification will fund the continuation of design services through planned signature engineering services during construction bidding and approximately 6 months into construction. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. And last, I have 2567-2025 to authorize the Director of the Department of Public Utilities to modify the contract with RCC Global LLC for the Customer Information System and Integrated Systems Upgrade Project to add additional funding and to authorize the expenditure of $3,141,040.60 split between the electricity, water, sanitary sewer, and stormwater operating funds. This contract modification will enable Columbus Water and Power to sync meter data between its current CIS system and Oracle's customer cloud service. Merging these systems into one platform will reduce system complexity, increase data and billing accuracy, and make it easier to support the system in the future. Let me stop there, see if any questions or comments from my colleagues. Seeing none, I move for passage.
Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. That is all I have for my committee this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the final committee to come before council is the Rules and Policy Committee. I chair that committee. Councilmember Dorance has a piece of legislation. I'll turn it over to Councilmember.
Sorry about that, Council President. Hold on 1 second. Thank you. We have ordinance number 2221-2025 to repeal and replace Chapters 168 and 169 of the Columbus City Codes, and to create a division of the Columbus Occupational Safety and Health Administration within the Department of Human Resources. This legislation makes several changes to bring COSHA into sort of more cohesive existence in order to allow more proactive health and safety requirements that would be more uniform throughout various departments within the city of Columbus, instead of those remaining sort of individually with departments. This should provide more of an oversight and more of an ability for the Department of Human Resources to have more of a role in ensuring the safety for our employees within the city of Columbus. Do you want to pause and see if Director Moses, if you had anything you'd like to add?
Thank you for considering this legislation. We're really excited about the creation of this division. We think it'll go a long way, and that's it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, White, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you, Council President. All I have this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Seeing no further business to come for council, is there a motion to adjourn? Clerk, please call the row.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, White, President Harden.
The meeting is adjourned. We have one non-agenda speaker, and that's Mr. Nathaniel Wilkins. Mr. Wilkins, welcome back to council. Please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, White, President Harden.
Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal? Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, White, President Harden.
Are there any additions or corrections to the journal? We do have one correction as referenced by the city clerk for ordinance 2702 -2025. President Pro Tem Dorns inadvertently stated that the number was 2701-2025 during the zoning meeting on 10/20/2025. Hearing no other objections or corrections, the journal is approved. Sorry to call you out like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Council President.
We'll now go to the zoning committee. Councilmember Dorns chairs that committee. We all serve on it.
Thank you, Council President. We're going to try and get everything right tonight. Thank you. First, as always, we'll begin with briefly explain our rules pertaining to speaking for council on rezonings and variances. We all hear a staff presentation where ordinance have a disapproval from recommending body, or if we have a public speaker sign up to speak against an ordinance. We permit 3 speakers on each side of an ordinance, 3 proponents, 3 opponents. We ask that those speakers limit their remarks to 3 minutes per the standard rules of City Council. All speakers in the council variance, including city staff, area commissioners, applicants, and members of the public will be sworn in before they give testimony. Representatives of the area commission are always able to speak in an ordinance who do not need to fill out a speaker slip, but we do ask you alert city staff of your intentions to speak at this committee hearing. We do have 3 public speakers signed up to speak this evening. On the advice of the City Attorney's Office, I will now swear in the city staff. Please stand and raise your right hand and be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, as you shall answer to pains the penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do. I do. Thank you. Please let the record reflect that Brandon Carpenter from the Department of Building and Zoning Services has been sworn in. Our first piece of legislation is Ordinance 2789-2025 to amend ordinance number 0494-2017, passed March 13, 2017, for the property located at 341 Obetz Road by amending Section 2 and modifying the height district of the proposed development, and by repealing Section 3 and replacing with a new Section 3 to modify the development tax and site plan of said property within the CPD Commercial Plan Development District. Ordinance number 0494-2017, rezone parcel, or rezone 6.96 plus parcel acres located at 341 Obetz Road to allow the site to be developed with an elderly housing/assisted living facility containing up to 80 units and a height district of 35 feet. This ordinance amends that maximum unit count, increasing from 80 units to 118 units, replacing the site plan with a new site plan, and amends the development text to reflect the proposed changes, and lastly changes the height district from 35 feet to 60 feet. Staff notes the intended use of an elderly housing/assisted living facility remains the same, and all other sections of ordinance number 0494-2017 remain unchanged or in effect. The proposal has approved from city staff and the Far South Area Commission. Do any of my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage. I'm sorry, I first move to amend as emergency.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, White, President Harden.
Amended.
Thank you. I next move for passage as amended.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty, de Akauer, Dorns, Green, White, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. We move in the council variances portions of the committee. First, we have ordinance 2378-2025 to grant variance provisions of section E.20.100A, use table E.20.040C, building placement, and E.20.040G, on-site parking, the Columbus City Codes for property located at 1058 Parsons Avenue to allow automotive repair facility with reduced development standards in the UG1 Urban General District. This site consists of one undeveloped parcel in the UGN Urban General District. The requested council variance will allow the new construction of an automotive repair facility that supports the existing automotive repair facility located on the adjacent parcel to the north. A council variance is required because the UGN 1 district does not allow automotive repair facilities. Variance is to reduce the building's facade along Parsons Avenue from 70 to 52.14% within the front facade zone, and reduce the front surface parking setback from 24 to 0 feet are also included in this request. Proposal has a disapproval from city staff and an approval from the Columbus Southside Area Commission. Due to that disapproval from city staff, we'll now hear a report from the representative from the Department of Building and Zoning Services, Mr. Brandon Carpenter. Floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, President Harden, Chair Dorans, members of council. The site is within the planning area of the Near South Side Plan, which recommends mixed-use neighborhood land uses for this location. Additionally, the plan includes early adoption of the Columbus Citywide Planning Policy's design guidelines. The submitted site plan depicts a removed curb cut from Parsons Avenue and parking lot screening comprised of black metal tube fencing and landscaping, which are consistent with the plans and C2P2's design guideline recommendations. However, staff does not support the proposal because automotive uses do not contribute to a pedestrian-oriented development pattern envisioned by the UGN 1 district, and are not typically compatible with high-density residential development that is allowed in this district. Additionally, staff does not concur with the applicant's analysis of the practical difficulties and believes that the requested variances to reduce the front facade zone and the front surface parking setback line are substantial.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Questions for Mr. Carpenter about the staff report so far? Mr. Carpenter, I also know that the Division of Planning submitted additional comments from their perspective on this. And just as a reminder to council members and our other folks, if we have any part of the city process, if there's a disapproval from a entity within that, it's a disapproval from city staff. So even though other divisions or departments may be in support of an application, simply because one is not in support, that's why there's a staff disapproval here. But I know the Planning Division had some additional feedback here, if you would mind sharing that with the body.
The Planning Division notes that the Near South Side Plan recommends this site for neighborhood mixed use, which supports uses that are consistent with the neighborhood commercial classification. This classification allows for auto-oriented uses if they are built to community commercial overlay design standards. Staff note that there is not a proliferation of auto-oriented uses nearby, and the proposal is an extension of an existing adjacent use. Columbus Citywide Planning Policy's design guidelines recommends parking lots and service zones should be placed to the rear or side of a building and be hidden from view to the greatest extent possible. Staff note that the applicant removed the curb cut from Parsons Avenue and has proposed black metal tube fencing with landscaping along the roadway frontage to screen service and parking. Staff also note that the site plan includes a pedestrian-oriented building design that appropriately addresses the street. The proposed building elevations are consistent with the C2P2 design guidelines that call for a consistent level of detailing and finish for all sides of a building, and that the street-facing facade include appropriate transparency. The building elevations are also consistent with the broader intent and standards of the Title 34 district in place. Although the proposed use is not presently allowed in this Title 34 district, staff notes that having these types of uses in limited quantities and built in a pedestrian-oriented fashion can be appropriate for urban neighborhoods like this.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. If I can summarize that real quick, and feel free to tell me if it seems to fit your sort of analysis from what planning provided. So while auto-oriented uses may be not allowed within the UG1, basically what we're hearing from planning is that generally within some of these urban areas, this is the type of folks are going to need to get their cars fixed at some point within these areas. And if that's a use that's going to be there, certain high quality development standards particularly would need to come into play. And this certainly, when you look at the totality of the circumstances here, they can sort of see why in this instance it may make sense for this expansion. Keeping in mind that this is while it's not technically an expansion of the existing facility because there's not common ownership of the two parcels, there is an existing business that, again, is operating on the northern parcel that's adjoining to it. So again, had there been common ownership of the two of them, they would have been allowed to be expanded under the UGN. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. Any questions from council members for the department before we move on to the applicant? Seeing none, thank you. Next, we'll hear from the applicant's representative, Mr. Craig Moncrief. Mr. Moncrief, welcome back to council. I will need to swear you both in since this is a variance. So if I can have both of yourself introduce yourself to the mic, and then I will go ahead and swear you in.
Yeah, Craig Moncrief, attorney.
Abdallah Al-Jaxi, owner of the business.
Great. Do you raise your right hand, be sworn in? Do you swear from the testimony about the give, shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, as you shall answer, pains the penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. Just to verify, can everybody see the short PowerPoint presentation that we provided?
Yep.
Thank you, council. My name is Craig Moncrief. I'm an attorney for Al-Jaxi and Al-Jaxi Group. We are requesting a use variance and 2 area variances involving this property. In order to, I think, tell the complete story, we need to kind of take a step back and look at surrounding properties, particularly the property to the north. As you can see on this site plan, the proposed building is to the right. That is on 1058 Parsons Avenue. To the left is 1048 Parsons Avenue, which you can see is operated by Good Grip Tires, which Abdallah has owned and operated since 2021. If you could please go to the next slide. So this was the building and property at 1048 prior to 2021. As you can see, it's been used for auto repair for a very extensive time. If you could go, please go to the next slide. Thank you. Once again, showing conditions prior to 2021. Next slide, please. And so that's the changes after Abdallah took over in 2021, 2022. As you can see, some significant changes. And business is going very well to the point where he bought the adjacent property in December 2023 with the hopes of expanding it. Obviously, the one big problem was about 7 months after he purchased the property, Columbus instituted the new Title 34 zoning code, which no longer allows this use there. So understanding city's stance that auto uses are not necessarily encouraged along Parsons Avenue. But with that in mind, I think there's 2 clear hardships here. One being the time he purchased it, which was just before it was changed and the use was permitted. And 2, that this, for all intents and purposes, this functions as an expansion of an existing business, of a local business. If he was able to own that property, he's in a long-term lease at 1048, so he does not own it. There's not an opportunity to own it. If he did, he could combine the parcels, have some legal non-conforming rights. But unfortunately, that's not the case, which I would say is a hardship that speaks to why this should be permitted to support a local business. This was unanimously approved by the Southside Area Commission. Just quickly to speak on a few of the area variances, there's existing pavement on the property, so it's really to utilize that and to help with safety and circulation for the auto repair use in and out. Also, there's significant improvements coming, namely, they're going to remove the existing curb cut on Parsons Avenue, have access be strictly from the alley to the back. They're going to add landscaping and fencing. The building's going to be similar to other buildings. It's going to front on Parsons with parking to the rear. And so to quickly hit on a few of the Duncan standards, the owner did not know about these restrictions when he purchased the property because they were not there. Doesn't affect government services. I would say it is in line with the intent and the spirit of the zoning code by really bringing a nice infill development for such a small internal lot. And it will support a local business. It's not going to bring some new huge facility on a 1 acre tract or anything like that. It really functions as an expansion of the business. So with that, that's all I have. Abdallah here as well to answer any questions. And I know we've got a few people to speak in support. Thank you.
Sure. Any questions or for the applicant or their representative? Councilmember Barosa de Padilla.
Chair, can we see the picture? I think in there was the first slide what it would look like? That?
Yes.
Is that a rendering of what? And then what would be the difference between, so you would own the property to the right, but not the property to the left?
Correct.
And so if something were to happen where you could no longer operate your business out of the property to the right or to the left, right? Where I'm looking at it, okay.
I the beholder, council member.
I know, you're, so from my viewpoint, where you are currently, if you don't own that property anymore, then how would that affect the business and the building that you have on, that you would then own?
It would not affect it. We designed this building to replicate the building that we're currently in. So if we were ever put in that predicament, we have a whole new building to operate just like we are now. Yeah.
Got it.
And we have a pretty good relationship with the landlord that currently, 1048, if he was to sell it, he is going to sell it to us. It's just not the right time for him right now.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Other questions from council members to the applicant or the rep? Thank you. I'll call you back up if we
Thank you.
need it. Yep.
Is it okay if I share one?
Oh, absolutely.
The community has been great. We truly like doing business on the south side. And business has been good, and the community has been good to us as well. And that's the reason why we want to expand right to the south. We could have looked for lots elsewhere, but it just made the most sense. And we're providing an essential service to the community. People need their cars fixed. And like I said, the community has been good to us, so we've been busy. And we're just not able to keep up with the demand with that current building that we're in. We need 4 more bays to be able to get cars in and out. People don't want to wait on their cars. You tell them you need 2-3 days, they're like, hey man, I need it today. So we're just here to better offer what we do to this community. So, thank you.
Thank you both. As I mentioned, we do have 3 public speakers signed up to speak, I believe all in favor of this variance application. The first speaker to come before council, Mr. Ted Welch. Mr. Welch, welcome back. And for all the speakers, I will swear you in when you get up to the podium. So if you don't mind raising your right hand, and we'll get that started. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, as you shall answer to pains and penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do.
I do.
The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, I'm Ted Welch. I'm a resident of the Southside community. Of course, you know me well. I'm here to support this variance due to the fact that they are good neighbors. They have participated in various events in the community. They have supported the community. They hire individuals from the community to provide service for the community. So we have a known business that is expanding, which we would love to have most businesses on the south side in the expansion mode. So I'm here to encourage that City Council encourage our businesses on the south side, that it is viable, it is a good community, and as Nancy Pryor-Sully used to say, the south side's the best side. So I'm going to say that as well, as a former commissioner on the south side and as the president of Edgewood Civic. So I'm here fighting for my community. I'm here fighting for a service that is desperately needed for the residents of the south side. I have to admit, I use that auto service because I have an old town car, 1999, antique, but it runs and they keep it running. And they do it at a nominal rate. So being retired, I pinch my pennies too, and they're always there to help and assist, and I appreciate that. And I know the residents of the south side would appreciate your supporting them as well.
Thank you, Mr. Welch. Any questions for Mr. Welch from council members? Seeing none, thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you.
Next speaker to come before council is Mr. Kenneth Williams. Mr. Williams, welcome to council. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, as you shall answer under pains and penalty of perjury? If so, please say I do.
I do.
The floor is yours, sir.
Hello, good afternoon or good evening. I'm Ken Williams with the Gathers Place Civic Association. Some of you have known me for years. I'm just here to second what Ted said. Good Grip has been a great business on the south side on Parsons Avenue, and we encourage expansion on Parsons Avenue. I mean, right now we have a lot of vacancies on Parsons Avenue, so Good Grip to even consider to expand on the south side and on Parsons Avenue is a great thing for us. They are very involved in our civic activities. They support us with our garden tour, which is our #1 event. They support us with our Halloween event. They're just good neighbors, and I encourage you guys to really think about that. They are great. I wholeheartedly agree for their expansion. So that's about it.
Great.
If you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Any questions? See none? Appreciate you coming down.
Nice.
Thank you. And our last speaker is Maya Mickenturf. I apologize if I got your name wrong, but if you want to correct it for me if I messed that up. Okay. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, as you shall answer to pains and penalty of perjury? Please, if so, please say I do.
I do.
Floor is yours, ma'am.
Hello, guys. My name's Maya. I have been living in the community for sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm not used to public speaking. For a little over a year and a half. I live directly in front of the shop, and they're a really good asset to the community. I can assure you that they get a lot of business. Business is definitely booming. It's very busy there all the time. But as somebody who lives by myself as a woman, I feel like they also look out for me. They're very kind. Yeah.
Any other comments or? You don't need to have any.
Yeah.
I felt like there was a pregnant pause there, and I didn't know if you were done yet.
Yeah, I feel like they get a lot of love from the community too. So.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from council members? Yep, thank you for being here. We always offer the ability for the applicant to make any additional comments, but I do want to thank the Division of Planning, the Department of Building and Zoning Services and the zoning staff for their thorough review. So this is a really unique, I'm sorry, Councilmember Beatty?
I do have a question. And this is either a question or clarification. So in this particular instance, they're asking for variances from the requirements of UGN-1. Is that
That's correct?
And so in this circumstance, or circumstances like it, are they required to meet the other requirements of UGN-1?
Correct, they are.
Okay. Because I know, for instance, I heard Attorney Moncrief mention that a fence would be erected. And as I recall, please correct me here, for instance, I think the UGN requires that there's no more chain link fences on the corridors. Is that true? They need to be other types of material? Is that correct, or am I mixing it up?
Yes, new fencing materials are not allowed to be chain link fences, so they'll have to comply with that with their site plan.
All right.
Unless there's a variance to that, which I don't believe there is here for the fencing.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Yep. Councilmember?
Jared, I think you were probably headed in this direction, but I just wanted to say, it's interesting because I think that every time we have a zoning issue that comes up, there is, even when we put our values out or we talk about certain things that we want or that we need, there are nuances, right? And so while I agree that we need more transit, while more transit is coming, I think we can't deny the fact, I used to live on Midoff Street, right off of Parsons, for 11 years. And we can't deny that when this is a neighborhood that is, our transit options in that area are not great. And people do rely on cars. And I know that I certainly did. We were a one-car family for up until 2021. And so my husband biked everywhere and we had 2 kids. And so getting anywhere in the city, it was either in our car or in our car. So I understand the need, especially when I think about local businesses that are engaged in the community. And I think many times we talk about things that we don't want a lot of, but there are things that are necessary for us to have. And I think that this is one of those times where those nuances of having a local business, having a business that is engaged in the community, and especially having people who are coming and saying, we want this here, I think just speaks volumes to your commitment. I think also creating a beautiful space where, I say this all the time, in every community there's beauty and love and pride and joy, no matter what it looks like. It just looks different for each of us. So I just wanted to thank you for your engagement in the community and also for creating a beautiful space on Parsons Avenue, because that pride and joy and love lives there as well. And so I think this is where the nuance of what is currently there and investing in that and also thinking about what is to come and building for the future collide, and we have to make these nuanced choices. So
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember. As I think you were getting to, and I think myself as well, I mean, this is where we take the staff recommendations, particularly with an area that we just rezoned in the first phase of zone in, extremely seriously. We are not going to be handing out variances willy-nilly to areas that have been recently rezoned with our new zoning districts. But again, this is sort of a question between what is the letter of the zoning code and what is the spirit of them when we talk about this, because again, if this applicant owned both parcels, we wouldn't be here tonight. They simply would be going to the BZA for several area variances that we wouldn't even be asking this question. I think additionally, as you know, we've got strong community support here for this, and it's really that question of what is the letter of the code versus what is the spirit of it. And I think this is just one where this is primarily why these come to this body, because we can see that spirit of this versus what the letter of this is. And I think particularly when you have an applicant who has a significant amount of community support. So while we really appreciate the technical expertise and the guidance of our folks within our zoning division, is really important for us to be able to see the whole picture. And I think that's something that really matters here. So I don't anticipate us having this kind of thing come before us very often, where I am personally supportive of a variance that is in a new Title 34 district that we've recently rezoned with Zone N. But I believe that this is one that certainly deserves serious merit that certainly I personally support, because this is such a unique case. I do want to make sure that we're addressing the variances just for the record here. So with the parking setback, this is an area variance that's simply legitimizing an existing paved strip on the property that falls within the setback from Parsons Avenue. That does not, from my vantage point, seem like a substantial reduction. Again, folks can, reasonable minds can disagree about this, but the overall impact is better for pedestrian safety. We're removing a curb cut, making the building fit in the surrounding properties, which is all part of the goal of Zone N, to make these new developments be more complementary to the neighborhoods that they call home. When we're looking at the facade coverage and compatibility, the proposed use is supporting an existing business that is already there. That neighborhood context literally fits because of the other businesses there. And finally, the applicant's implementing our C2P2 design guidelines, which directly supports this type of high-quality project. This is a vast improvement compared to a vacant lot. Finally, when we're looking at the Duncan factors, so again, when we're talking about whether or not legally there is a hardship here, I believe there is. When you look at going back to what those factors are, we're talking about practical difficulty. Certainly to be able to develop this property in this way, absent this type of variance, would be very difficult to make happen. When you're talking about deviating from a required setback or lot size, this project otherwise would be very, very difficult to move forward otherwise. So I agree from the applicant's perspective, what they've submitted to council, that they have actually met this hardship. So want to thank their thorough review of this, but appreciate council's consideration. Again, want to finally stress that this is a very unique situation that we do not anticipate this council looking kindly on Title 34 variances very often, but I think this is one of those unique examples, particularly because they have done their work on establishing the hardship, but also the community support. So if there's no other question or comments, I first move to accept the application and the Area Commission report into evidence as the exhibits.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorans Green, White, President Harden.
Thank you. Next, I move to adopt the following as factual findings of council. The site consists of one undeveloped parcel in the UGN Urban General District. The requested council variance will allow the new construction of an automotive repair facility that supports the existing automotive repair facility located in the adjacent parcel to the north. When the applicant acquired the property, they did not know and did not have knowledge of the new Title 34 restrictions, as that information was not publicly available at the time of the purchase of the property. Do my colleagues have any questions or comments regarding that? Thank you. We do believe that as to the issue of undue hardship, the applicant has provided the following in their application. The variances are minor and necessary to allow functional, viable business to operate in the narrow urban infill lot, addressing the standards of practical difficulty. The proposed building is comparable in size and use to the adjacent auto repair facility, ensuring the project will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. The project actively enhances the streetscape by removing an unnecessary curb cut on Parsons Avenue and allowing new landscaping, which improves pedestrian safety and aesthetics. The variance will not negatively impact the delivery of governmental services or neighboring properties. The property was purchased again before the new Title 34 zoning code was adopted, again justifying the requested relief. Based upon the following information provided in both the exhibits and during this hearing, I move for council to adopt those with the following preliminary findings.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. There has been evidence to suggest the required variants are minimal in scale and are fundamentally necessary to allow functional and profitable business to operate the constrained urban site directly, satisfying the standards of practical difficulty. There's been evidence to suggest the intended use is consistent with the dimensions and use within the existing auto repair facility immediately adjacent to it, thereby confirming the project will not disrupt the essential character of the surrounding neighborhood. There's been no evidence to suggest the intended use prohibits a clear upgrade to the public streetscapes by removing unnecessary curb cuts on Parsons Avenue, incorporating new plantings which demonstrate enhanced pedestrian safety and visual appeal. There have been no evidence to suggest the intended use will unreasonably diminish or impair existing property values within the surrounding area, and there's no evidence to suggest the intended use is appropriate and justified because the owner purchased the parcel before the new Title 34 zoning code was adopted. Next, I move on the consideration of the undue hardship based upon the previous information provided both in the exhibits and during the hearing. I move for council to adopt the following findings of fact. To obtain a council variance, an applicant must demonstrate undue hardship. In this case, the applicant has shown that such a use will not adversely affect the surrounding property or surrounding neighborhoods. Again, I move for council to adopt those findings.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Thank you. And finally, I move for passage.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
Thank you, Council President and colleagues, for our first Title 34 variance. Hopefully, that's one of the few ever. I have nothing further in the zoning committee.
For the zoning committee, is there a motion to adjourn? Clerk, please call the roll. It's all good.
Bangston, Barosa de Padilla, Beatty de Akauer, Dorance Green, Vice President Harden.
We are adjourned.